So you want to be a leader in the realm of instructional technology and distance education? Well, if you do, here are the 10 guiding... Here are 10 action steps you can follow to put those guiding principles right in your heart. Action step number 1 is to hug a student. Hugging a student might seem like an odd first step, but it's meant to symbolize the need to focus on the learner. Whichever instructional design methodology you choose to embrace, begin with the student. It's not the technology, the methods, or the media. It's the student. Action step number 2 is to visit a playground. The second step is meant to remind you not to discount the importance of meeting the students where they are. You can help reduce transactional distance by utilizing the technologies that they're already familiar with. When you find out where your students are and place yourself there, you will find that your transactional distance shrinks. Action step number 3 is to laugh. Step 3 is meant to remind you that when technology and media are chosen to fulfill an actual learning objective, they can be fun. If the technology that you are using is ineffective, ask yourself if you're using it because you think you're supposed to be using it, or if you're using it because it's supposed to solve an instructional or logistical need. Action step number 4 is to buy a fountain pen. It can be easy to get caught up in the hype about the latest technologies, but it's important to remember that technology is always changing. The Journal of the National Association of Teachers reported that students of today depend too much upon ink. They don't know how to use a penknife to sharpen a pencil. And the federal teachers reported a few years later that ballpoint pens will be the ruin of education in our country. Businesses and banks will never allow such expensive luxuries. Let your new pen serve as a reminder not to get caught up in the hype regarding new technologies. Action step number 5, blend an iPhone. Drop it in, then hit blend. Okay, that might not be the best idea. Maybe we should just watch the iPhone episode of Will It Blend? This step is meant to remind you not to become emotionally attached to any object or idea regarding instructional technology. Media and the technologies that facilitate them are always changing, and as Dr. Richard Clark likes to remind us, they are always completely replaceable. If you keep the replaceability of media and technology in the forefront of your mind when using them, you'll retain control over them. Action step number 6 is to pour yourself a drink. Many educators expect the media that they use to transport their lesson to magically transform it. This does not happen. Media are mere vehicles that deliver instruction, but do not influence student achievement any more than the truck delivering our groceries causes changes in our nutrition. Action step number 7 is to go to a play. This next step is meant to remind you about the importance of copyright. Few people would sneak into a play without paying. You need to be aware of the rights the authors, the illustrators, the photographers, and the other media producers have, partly because you can get into trouble, and partly because it's the right thing to do. Action step number 8 is to get uncomfortable. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Do one thing every day that scares you," and maybe that's signing up for a charity ride before you're ready. Or maybe it's hanging up the green screen in your classroom and learning with your students. Action step number 9 is to ask questions. The key to long-term growth is asking questions. This step is meant to remind you of the importance of developing your professional network. Some use Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and others focus on building their professional home with one of the professional organizations. I recommend a combination of both. And that brings us to the last one, action step number 10. Answer questions. You can give a PD session at your school. You can offer your knowledge through an online webinar. Submit articles to professional journals. You should think about speaking at least regional conferences. And there you have it. 10 simple, if not that easy steps to help keep you focused on the 10 guiding principles of instructional technology and distance education.